was a fair amount.
Indeed, and off we go on Holy Island in a matter of seconds. Leenock leading by 1, having the HRE, and on the other side we're gonna have CSO with the Rus. He had a good game number 1, but in the end fell short. Leenock in position to move on to the next round should he win this.
Yeah, so all eyes going to be on CSO. Question's going to be whether he can pull off an upset today. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. Seeing the Rus on this map, they're incredibly strong. I suspect we're probably going to see the Kremlin come out as well. Lidakor, yep. I'm excited for some Kremlin action. I know you're excited as well. Chat, if you're excited for some Kremlin action, let me see you spam Kremlin. No, don't spam Kremlin. What do you spam Rus? Yeah, Rus. Rus. No, don't say Kremlin. No, that's where we're too aware. Gremlin. Yes, spam Gremlin. If you want to see the Kremlin, spam the Gremlin. Yes. Now we're talking. All right.
The things that Twitch chat does upon the request of the streamer.
I know, right? I know. Oh, gosh. Okay, so, yeah, it looks like 5 relics on this map, so it doesn't look like the 6th one has spawned. All right, here's my question to you. Do we see a CsOH before 10 minutes?
Quite possibly so. Especially because if you take a look at what the HRE can do, contesting the water, that might not be realistic. The Rus should have the initial advantage, and then if it is an extended fuselage, then the Rus will be in a much more advantageous position from that. So, because of that, I could see Leenock just trying to go straight fast castle with the HRE, trying to make something happen there, like get the Lancers going, get some harassment done with them, try to pick up some relics. I can see that being a thing. Or if he doesn't apply enough pressure, then CSO might just have a good enough eco to go up to castle. So, it's definitely a realistic option.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility on the table. I like the idea of a Burgrave here, but my fear is going into something like a Burgrave. If your enemy just masses up horse archers, you're kind of left holding. Well, yeah, I'm not going to say it, but it's not a good position to be in. Let's just put it that way. Double dock coming down though for Leenock. This is something that we don't quite often see.
It's an aggressive play when it comes to economical expansion, but this is something that we have seen the HRE do even prior to this patch. If there's a single civilization that can afford to go for this very aggressive double dock play in Dark Age, that's the HRE. You have that lumberjacking boosted by the Prelate, so you can afford to just double produce fishing ships, and that's kind of unique for the HRE. That could be the way how you match the Rus' economical power on the fishing front.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. For anybody who doesn't know, the Rus actually have much stronger fishing boats than any other civilization. They also train them faster per capita. So for every fishing boat that you make, the Rus is making about 0.75 of a fishing boat. And so it means that, that they're well and truly ahead of you if you just go single dock. But so far, with the second dock, it's going to make all the difference, at least for Leenock. So an interesting opening here as well. This kind of signals to me like, okay, we're in it for the long haul when it comes to fighting on water. So I wouldn't be surprised if this just develops into like a 25-minute feudal-only water battle game, just simply because of that double dock decision.
Exactly. Now, looking at the base layout of Leenock, this is actually an interesting one, because he chose the front wood line as compared to the one at the back. Same thing is there for CSO, but for him, this is actually lovely positioning, because the Kremlin is going to be on the front, it's going to protect the hunt, it's still going to boost the lumberjacks, and it's also going to establish that mid-map presence to a certain extent, so that's a lovely position for the Kremlin.
Yeah, it's a good little spot that he's got it sitting on. The question's going to be how he looks to utilize the Kremlin bonus. Does he look to try and get out the militia early on, begin applying pressure through a potential siege on the docks? Or does he just allow the tickets to build up? And I'm definitely a fan of letting the tickets build up and then just hitting your enemy with a whole huge amount of force that they never expected to see. It's kind of crazy to think of the power that exists in there.
Exactly. I think you can definitely think about that timing push, maybe even in early Castle Age, because if the HRE doesn't push you, you would just sit back on your fishing eco, you would just have your lumberjacks boosted by the Kremlin, and you will go to Castle Age, you'll get the warrior monks out, start yoinking the relics away from the HRE, and then you will just start going for the lancers, and then you will still have those tickets available for the militias, and just pop all of them, suddenly have a timing push available. But looks like he's going in a different direction, wants to play a very aggressive feudal age, militias popping out already, it's gonna be backed up by a stable.
Yeah, double militia out already, stable coming down, so could be looking potentially for some knights, but I think it's just gonna be horsemen to open us up with. Take a look at the militia's icon as well. It's an interesting icon. Just the two weapons crossed over each other. Definitely not a standard looking icon, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of unique, but when you look at it, here they come, and when you play with these militias, you gotta be very aggressive with them. It's not like a spearman that you want to preserve. This unit is going to die or expire after 90 seconds. It's actually 80 now, I think. Tooltip still says 90, but the balance notes say 80. Nevertheless, these guys will die after 80 seconds, so you want to get the most out of them by that time. So expect CSO to play very aggressive over here with them and just try to get as much value from them before they expire.
Yeah, interestingly, wasn't able to achieve much. He just kind of twiddled his thumbs there underneath the town center of his enemy. We can see now trading out with this scout. Not going to be able to find a kill though. He's trying to pull them back in towards that position, but the villager might go down there. Ooh, Lidakor. Tough position, and we do see both of those militia losing their lives as their timer comes to an end.
Yeah, nice little harassment though. And don't underestimate the importance of this, because you're hitting the wood line of Leenock. If you're CSO, you want to preserve your fishing eco, and one way to do this is slowing down the naval expansion of Leenock, making sure that he doesn't have a sufficient navy to fight you. And you can kind of accomplish that to a certain extent by hitting the lumberjacks. So for the time being, not much naval combat. Now, one thing that CSO may not know is how good the fishing eco of Leenock is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would expect him to kind of have an idea, because he did see the second dock come out, but look at this aggression coming out still from CSO, just really pushing with these militia on the front line, demonstrating the strength of the Kremlin here. But now we've got ourselves a little bit of a battle on the water. CSO going to be heading out, hightailing it out. More horsemen coming in. Look at the aggression from CSO on this wood line. We just don't see the respect given by Leenock at this stage to these units. He's trying his best to hold on. It's going to be a couple of spearmen that do make their way through and are able to repel this, at least for the moment. The question is, where do we go from here? Because it looks like Leenock might be thinking about heading towards that all-important Castle Age.
Exactly. Like, if you look at the food income per minute, it's actually better for Leenock. That's the power of that double dock play from the HRE. And you look at the overall economical numbers, it's essentially dead even. It's Kremlin boosted Rus Lumberjacks versus Aachen-Chapel boosted HRE Lumberjacks, same amount of fishing eco. Ecos are comparable, but the investment on land is much larger from CSO.
All right, well, the archers are now coming out. Beginning to build a nice little composition here. Leenock starting to stack up the gold, and attention on the water. It's going to be paid right now as the repel comes through. CSO able to repel Leenock's vessels a little bit longer. Now that knight is out as well. Watch out for this knight. Does a lot of damage. This knight doing as much damage as both of these horsemen do. In fact, a little bit more than that.
And a lot of villagers are heavily damaged here, so you gotta be cautious if you're Leenock. That's a lot of spearmen, but especially with the archers catching up, you could actually chip away on the eco. And if the spearmen are mispositioned, oh, this is even better. Look at the angle.
Wow. Yeah, such a good angle right there. Able to defend the archers against the horsemen. Just a nice little screen right there, preventing anything from happening. But look at the archer numbers from Leenock. How many barracks is he sitting on right now? I can't help but feel like he must be on 2 or 3 barracks right now. The spearman numbers are kind of crazy just how quickly they're building up. But he's going to have to fall back. He's taken his sheep with him. Just the single barracks. Just the single barracks, single stable. So just very good production. And there's the militia coming out, looking to try and defend. He's able to bring them to the front line, trying his best to use those militia to body block, draw away his enemy's attacks, have them take out. And there we see the militia looking to trade down, so doing a decent job there, but at the same time, not enough archers to actually clean up these spears. And we're going to see a cleanup coming through. Leenock able to hold on.
This is fine, though. He pulled away the spearmen. He pulled away the spears, and the lumberjacks are open.
Yeah, but he's got all of his attention at the moment turned on these individual Spearman, and yeah, there we go. He's able to hold on a little bit longer, so everything just continues putting along. Nothing too crazy happening just yet. Just small little exchanges. No indication of castle ages. And take a look at this. Hold on, we got ourselves an archery range getting thrown down. CSO
Exactly.
might be preparing even more for feudal age play.
Kind of poking and probing on both sides over here, and they were quietly building up navies behind this. Now, you got 5 Hawks out there for Leenock, 3 demo ships and 1 galley. So CSO is actually running into a major trap here on the water. He might actually be distracted on land, and this could be a disaster on the water for CSO.
All right, we'll take a look over there because Leenock is moving towards his side of the map, chasing him back. Look at this. You can see the intent in Leenock. He's got the demos coming up the rear. On CSO's side, though, no demos whatsoever. Nothing even in queue. And first demo, not able to make a connection. Second one, almost getting focused down. He moves forward. An archer ship. It's going to take the brunt of the attack. Third demo, sitting in on the backside. He's dodging it slowly. Left, right, up, down. Demo moves around towards the top side. Looks to try and come through. He snuck it through, but he's able to get a couple of shots off. Dodging, dipping, diving, ducking, and dodgeballs his way. Unfortunately, losing his life. The demo ship not going to be fighting luck today. Leenock, he's going to be sad.
Well, is he gonna be sad though? He has pushed his opponent all the way back into his base, managed to pick off a couple of fishing ships even, and when you look at the big picture, CSO has absolutely no land presence. And this is the moment where Leenock can either double down on this and actually apply pressure on those lumberjacks, or just say, okay, it's time for Castle Age.
Yeah. The more and more this game goes on, the more and more I feel like Castle Age is going to be important here. Are we able to check how many tickets are currently sitting on CSO's landmark? I'd love to see whether he's building that up or whether he's just kind of chilling out at the moment. The economic difference between these two is not huge. Let's have a look on the Kremlin. So he's got 3 tickets at the moment. So he can get a total of 6 militia out. So he can save these up and just use them in a big burst. But look at this. A lot of villagers moving out towards that gold. That's an indication of where he's going. Sitting on 1,200 food at the moment. CSO well and truly ahead of Leenock at this stage.
Yeah, CSO just wants to make it to Castle Age, so Leenock is gonna have to commit, and at the very latest when he sees the Castle Age notification on the other side, he's gonna go, but it looks like he's gonna commit sooner than that. Leenock, not much wood in the bank, so, or actually CSO that is, he might have a problematic time here replenishing the fleet that he's about to lose.
Yeah, this is a good call. He's in a bit of a difficult spot, getting backed away into a corner. The only military he's got out right now is this naval military. That is it. Nothing on land. So he's very, very committed right now to getting Castle Age, looking to replace it. He hasn't added in any additional archers yet, so could be thinking about horse archers, trying to keep everything alive. Nothing in queue at the moment. Does put 2 demos in the queue. This is what he's waiting for. Needs to try and hold on as long as he can possibly wait until those demos come through. But we now see the first of the demo coming in from Leenock over towards that east side of the screen. Heads back, does a nice little dodge away. Leenock pulling it back, and now the demo's rushing out. CSO losing the first one, second one getting sniped down as well. And it looks like Leenock going to be able to take the water here away from CSO and potentially the game with it.
Lovely read by Leenock to camp 1 galley right next to the dock. He knows fully well that if there is ever a demo to come, it comes from that dock out there, and he's just intercepting them with that 1 stationary galley. Just picked off like 3 demo ships coming from that direction, making it impossible for CSO to win this battle.
Now CSO's in a difficult spot. We can see that he's down to 600 food. I'm not sure exactly where he's spending it on. Might be the naval ships, but I mean, at this point, he's lost out almost all of his navy. Looks like the fishing boat's going to be coming up next. He's trying his best to keep them alive in the back quarter, but unfortunately, they're going to get eaten alive. He's got more military being produced, but good game going to get called. Leenock going to be going through to the next round, and CSO down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, CSO wanted to get to that Castle Age. He was so close when it comes to the resource bank, but timing of Leenock's push on the water came in perfectly. And in the end, there was just no chance to keep water for CSO. Maybe if he goes into Castle Age, there could have been a small chance, but then again, he had no land presence. Fishing eco is gone. It's understandable why he decided to tap out of this one. And in the end, Leenock takes down CSO, and CSO gets knocked down to the loser's bracket.